Hello everyone, welcome to our newly developed software which is called the Hour and Payment Calculator. The system is designed for professionals who value accuracy, speed and transparency. However, this is actually a standard version for the software. So the Pro version is already available too, and you can also get it from the same website whereby you are also going to get this, which is actually the shop.ozmadugu.com. So this video is explaining the standard version, that is the standard version. So we also have the Pro version whereby you can also generate an invoice, share them as a PDF, download Excel, and do a lot of things with that. So you also have the Pro version available for those that actually want to go with the Pro version, but this is for the standard version. Now, these systems are actually designed to avoid errors in our manual calculations, and mostly for the calculations that involve working with hours and minutes. Because right, so if your job is actually an hour payment job, so most of the times you need some of these systems to actually be helping you to do some of those calculations, most especially considering the minutes involved in the hours, right? So now this system is going to allow us to see how we'll be able to do that, and you can add as many rows as possible for you to be able to do the calculation. And it also helps to prevent the error, like we said, right? It helps to prevent error in terms of our calculations. It also allow us to properly get our results quickly, and the system can allow you to also work with your taxes, because it's very important, most especially in terms of the human resource management department, and also in the terms of account department, corporate firm, freelancers, consultants, other school service providers. So the system is really important, right? We needed this type of software to carry out our day-to-day activities that involve the payment system, either for hour and a minute. Now, if you see this, you have these two feed here. So the first feed is telling us about the hours, and the second feed is telling us about the minutes, right? And we also have a red button here that if we decide to click on it, it automatically closes this, right? So if I click on it again, it shows if I click, so you can add as many rows as possible. You can also decide to clear that, right? You can add as many rows as possible, and you can also decide to clear that. And here you also have the amount per hour that the individuals are actually going to be paid. So you can set the amount per hour. If it is 2 hour to 2,000 per hour, if it is 5,000 per hour, if it is 1,000 per hour. You also have that functionality of actually setting the amount per hour, and the system will automatically do the calculations for you. And also have the currency Naira and dollars. All right, this standard version is actually using the Naira and dollar. The Pro version, we have also extended it up to 4. That is actually using 4, using the pounds and also euro, with the addition of the Naira and the dollar. That is what the Pro version. And the tax, you also have the functionality to provide your tax, and all your calculation you have actually done, you are going to see it below here. So the advanced version of it, that is the Pro version of it, also allow you to work with an invoice and do a lot of things. You save your data in case maybe you actually inputted the wrong data and you want to come and correct it and some other things. So one is actually better in terms of working with it. So you can also have this. This is actually, like I said, is just for the standard version. So we also have the Pro version. Now let's take example. We say the individual work for, let's say, 3 hours and 10 minutes, and the next day, let's assume, is a work that involves payment within a week. So the individual actually coming out Monday, Tuesday also. Then we have the second day that this individual is coming to work. He spent maybe, let's say, 3 hours and probably 20 minutes. So automatically what I'm expected to get here, it should be 3 plus 3, which is going to be 6 hours, and also 10 plus 20, which should be what, 30 minutes, right? 10 plus 20 should be 30 minutes. So the moment I add this, you can decide to add before adding your hours. You can just see how it is. So click on add role, right? If I want to add another role, if I don't want to add, I'll close it. So let's assume I just want to make the calculation like that. You can see I have 6 hours 30 minutes automatically. So you can see the breakdown, right? 6 hours 30 minutes. Gross payment, because I have not included any payment per hour, right? The tax I have not included. So here is just to get the hours, right? So let's say the payment per hour should be, let's say, 2,000 naira, right? So let's say it's 2,000 naira. So the moment I include that, I'll just click on calculate. So after that, I scroll down. You can see it has automatically added the gross payment for me now, right? Which is actually 13,000 naira, right? Adding the gross payment, that is every 2 hours now. Every hour I have 2,000 naira. So this is 6 hours. So 2 times 6, that should be 12,000. And we also have the minute to be the half of the 2,000, which means 1,000 naira. So that 1,000 naira for that 30 minutes is what the system is actually calculating here. You can see it's 1,000 naira. Now I want to include the tax. You can also decide to choose between the dollar and also the naira. So if I choose the dollar and I also click on my calculate, so every fee is actually going to change. So depending on the dollar rate that the system is actually going to pay you. If they are working with the dollar rate of maybe 1,500 as the dollar rate per hour, so if we have this, you can see, so the system will also generate that for you, right? You can see this is $9,000, and this is $750. So combining this, you have about $9,750 for the hour pay that you have actually worked. That's for the 1,500. So it depends on the payment that the system actually want to pay you. So how are they working with their the payment system? Are they working with, for the currency? Are they working in naira, or maybe they are working in dollar? But the pro version of this software actually extend up to euro and also the pounds. Now, what is the tax? You can decide to put a tax of 5%, and the moment you calculate that, it's also going to show you. You can see after getting all this breakdown, so we now have a tax of this. We now have a tax of this, right? You have a tax of this, and the total payment that the individual is now going to get is this, because the tax has already been deducted from the amount that the individual has actually worked. So that is how simple this, and it is also responsive, because if you try to check it from our mobile devices, so depending on which of the devices you are working with, either you are working with normal Android phones, you are working with tabs, you are working with, so all the systems should be able to accommodate this. So you can see, so it's actually responsive. It's reducing based on what? Based on the size of the phone of the device, right? It's actually reducing based on the size of the phone or the device that the individual is actually working with. So if it is a bigger screen, it's also extended, right? So that is how the software works. So if you actually want to work with this, you can purchase this, which is actually cheaper as compared to the pro version. So you can also get the software to purchase at shop.ozimadugu.com. Thank you, as we see you there. Goodbye.